Hey everybody, Wyduck here again, this time with Game 2 of this Best of 3 series from the WCS Season 2 Europe Edition. And this time, spawning on Neoplanet S in the top right as the Red Terran, representing Incredible Miracle and winner of Game 1, we've got MVP. And MVP is the defending champ as he won the WCS Europe Season 1 edition. So it's going to be a tough task for his opponent. Spawning in the bottom left and down 1-0 in this best of 3, spawning as the blue Protoss, we've got Grubby. Now, I like the fact that Grubby has his name twice, Grubby. Never a bad idea to say your name twice. Maybe it'll give you that extra motivation to defeat your opponent. Unfortunately, on Newkirk Precinct in Game 1, Grubby was the loser in that match as MVP was able to push across the map with a well-placed timing with a few Reapers, a few Marines, and a bunch of Hellions. And once they walked up that ramp, they were just eating up probes everywhere with those flamethrowers. And Grubby was not able to recuperate. So we'll have to see if Grubby can bounce back here. He's going for a gateway and an assimilator. And MVP is opening up with the barracks first play as well. I find it interesting that MVP opted to put the supply depot over to the right of his minerals. Generally, I don't know why you would put it here. Generally, Terran players want to block the ramp, or if they want to put a depot over here later on in the game to give a few more seconds notice if there's a drop coming in. But MVP put the supply depot over to the right side, so this is interesting. It's not going to affect the game that much in the beginning. I don't think he would have got the block off anyways here. You need 3 buildings. You generally a supply depot, a barracks, and a supply depot to block it off. So this probe is going to get a scout in MVP's base, and it looks like he might be stealing some minerals as well. No, just delayed that mineral harvesting just a little bit. And once again, MVP is going to put down the depot again, not at that ramp. So I'm not sure why he's doing that unless he's suspecting that Grubby's going to be going for an aggressive timing and doesn't want to sacrifice his depots. We do have the first Reaper coming out of the barracks. There we go. And the reactor is coming down immediately right after that. So the Reaper is going to be popping out here. Now, this is interesting that MVP has put down the engineering bay, at least half done. Now, that probe from Grubby is going to scare away this SCV. And with that Zealot out, this engineering bay is not going to finish, but it will provide some additional time that Grubby cannot build that Nexus, and that is very important to delay your Protoss opponent. Now, this Reaper has been able to pick off a probe as well, so things are really lining up for MVP, it looks like. The Mothership Core is going to scare this Reaper away. And unfortunately for MVP, he's not going to be able to put down that Nexus, but we do have a probe in MVP's base, also creating some havoc, putting some pressure on this SCV while it is constructing that command center. And it looks like it is going to go down, so not great control by MVP. Actually going to lose an SCV to a probe, so that's going to even out resources lost. But now it is in favor, once again, of our Terran player. But that was not very good micro by MVP. You don't want to throw away SCVs, especially this early in the game. But he is getting a factory up, and I suspect that he might be swapping it. Maybe not. Maybe he'll just keep the reactor on that barracks. Now, the Nexus has gone down for Grubby. And I like the fact that he has his pylon in the bottom right side of the base. He has this sort of hidden Stargate here. Might be able to do some very good Oracle harass from this point. The Reaper is looking around. And I don't think the Stalker's going to be able to stop a full scout of this base. MVP's Reaper is moving to the bottom left of Grubby's base. Now, this Reaper is going to get taken out. Great micro by Grubby. So was that Reaper able to see that Stargate? No, it was not. It just saw the pylon. So very good move by Grubby. And now MVP is totally in the dark about that Stargate. And that could be a huge problem, because if you don't know an Oracle is coming, it can really wreck your SCV line. Now, MVP is able to pick off that Stalker, and that's one of the problems on this map. There is higher elevation here, and if you're not paying attention, you can't see it, but you can get fired upon, and so he loses that Stalker for nothing. But like I said, if that Oracle is going to finish, it's going to be coming out very soon now. And once it does, I think MVP is going to have some problems here. He has no missile turrets. He does have a few Marines, and he has the magic number of 6 Marines. You need about 6 Marines to deal with Oracles. But he's actually moving the mines and the Marines across the map away from his base. So I think this Oracle is going to be very happy very soon, as he's going to be able to munch down on some free SCVs, and that's going to cause some problems for our Terran player. Now, it looks like MVP is going to be the aggressor. He's moving across the map again. Grubby is trying to delay it. The Oracle is in the natural, able to pick off 3, 4 SCVs in a matter of moments. And it looks like a 5th one will be feasted on as well. And now Grubby is going to head over to the main. But there aren't that many Marines here, so these Oracles are able to do a lot of damage. And now the SCVs are in full retreat. Able to pick off a mule as well. With 10 kills, this Oracle has done a lot of damage. At the same time, MVP has laddered up into the main base of Grubby. He's dropping Marines everywhere as well as Widow Mines. But that Nexus Cannon going down is going to prevent a lot of damage. These Marines cannot take that many hits from the Nexus Cannon. I really think MVP should be retreating here. He's lost most of his attack force. He still has 2 Widow Mines here. And he's going to be able to drop it off in the natural and create some havoc on that mineral line. Resources lost is fairly even, still in favor of Grubby, but it looks like MVP is trying to even it out. This Oracle is still hanging out with 11 kills, very close to MVP's base, and it looks like MVP is now going to have to retreat once again. That Nexus Cannon has been put down. MVP cannot stay there for very long. The Widow Mines have been dispatched as well, so Grubby does hold on. And now I really feel like MVP is really behind. This Oracle already has 14 kills, just doing more and more economic damage. And these Marines don't have an answer. That Oracle is able to scoot away, and the Marines are just going to stay there waiting for the next chance that they might have. The MVP is going to have to recollect himself. He's lost quite a few miners, 12-6. But you can't ever doubt a Terran, as he does have access to mules. In 2-on-2 bases, the Terran player will generally come out ahead, especially when you have access to those mules. It will even out that harvester count quite a bit. But that Oracle is still poking around looking to do more damage. It's only lost 5 life after destroying 14 units. And now he's coming back into the main. Still no missile turrets. And now these SCVs at that refinery are under attack. 3 more SCVs picked off. And it looks like MVP is not even going to bother dealing with that. He's moving a Viking actually there, so he will try to deal with that. But he is also moving across the map. Now remember, these Marines do not have Stim Pack, and they also don't have combat shields. Stim Pack is about a third done, but these are very weak Marines. And so if a Nexus Cannon goes down again, I don't know if these Marines will do very well. There's also only 1 lone medevac, so it's going to be difficult to heal this army. Now this medevac is taking fire from this cannon and actually goes down immediately, so now there is no supporting units for these Marines. They're kind of stuck out in dead man's land. They don't have speed. They cannot move faster, and with that Colossi in that composition, the Marines are going to have to hold back. Great scan by MVP, able to spot that observer and put down the scan and pick it off immediately. That's a great spot by MVP. It's really tricky to see those observers, but MVP was able to spot it. But he is going to be retreating back to his base. But I think MVP is still behind in this game. If we take a look at resources lost, he's lost almost twice as many resources as his Protoss opponent. So Grubby must be feeling pretty good about himself. +1 weapons is almost finished for him, as well as Thermo Lance is the third done. And even though we do have the engineering bay out for MVP, he hasn't started any upgrades yet. So the upgrade advantage will definitely go over to Grubby. And with the same army size, I think the advantage is definitely in Grubby's favor. And he's also putting down his third. Now, interesting positioning. Generally, players like to get their third over at this position, as it is a little bit easier to defend because you only have 2 entrance ways, and you also have the destructible rocks blocking half of 1 entrance way. But Grubby is comfortable. He's to be getting this third base up and running very soon. And the Oracle is coming in again, able to pick off 2 more SCVs, up to 19 kills, and that Oracle is going to escape again. We've got 5 Vikings in hot pursuit, but this Oracle is going to be able to scoot away. And the Oracle is faster than Vikings, so those Vikings are going to be searching in vain. And it looks like MVP just wants to be aggressive here. He was very aggressive in Game 1, and he was awarded with the victory in that game. He's going to try to be the aggressive one in this game as well, but if he doesn't win this engagement, he's going to be really behind because the third base for Grubby is almost up. And it looks like MVP is also doing the SCV pull. Now, we don't have Psionic Storm, so the SCVs might be somewhat effective, but still Colossi do a lot of splash damage. The probes are going to get picked off here. And now MVP is actually moving over to this third base. So if MVP is able to pick off this third base, he is definitely going to be in a much stronger position than he was before. The SCVs are lining up trying to pick down that photon cannon. I've never seen so many SCVs try to focus down on one photon cannon. And but the positioning is not very good. The SCVs are actually behind, and now the force fields are going down. The Colossi are firing down on all these Marines, all these barracks units, all these Terran units are being burned down immediately, and we still have 2 Colossi and a whole bunch of Stalkers. The army supply has just dropped significantly. MVP is down by about 40 supply. I don't think he's going to be able to recuperate from this. The Stalkers are just taking too much damage. The SCVs, unfortunately, did not do very much. I think what really went wrong there for MVP was when he forced all the SCVs to deal with that cannon, Grubby was in a position to flank with that cannon to the north and with his army to the south, and the SCVs were not in position to actually tank any damage. So MVP just kind of pulled all the SCVs to tank damage, but instead they didn't do anything. They were just hanging out behind the Marines and the Marauders. And so the Colossi just went to town on all the Marines and Marauders, and with those very good force fields, were also able to divide up that Terran army. So MVP is not going to be able to sweep this series. Grubby is able to win game 2. We'll have to head over to the last and deciding game to see who's going to take this series.